Folks, welcome to a day before New Year's Eve. So it's not New Year's Eve, it's the eve before New Year's Eve. So got my water, I got my heater out. And the reason I'm out here is because there's a lot of crazy things going on in my backyard over in Fort Worth. Okay, nice hot cup of Joe. Probably go through that really quick. So while I'm out here making a video, I figure I'll go ahead and get a smoke in. It's Montecristo. The line is called Monte, M-O-N-T-E. And of course AJ Fernandez makes Montecristo. And of course it's got a big old band on there, which I'm going to take out. The heater definitely helps, and of course I'm wearing my old sweater that's all torn up and beat up, but I wear it around the house, so it's still wearable. I'm not going to throw it away. Eventually I'll probably throw it away, or my wife throw it away. Let me toast it up. Of course I punched it. Now, hopefully you guys had a good Christmas and a safe and happy New Year coming up. Well, let me flip this around. Toast the other side. Yes, and if you see vapor coming from my breath, it's because it's about 40 degrees out right now. So yes, there was the church shooting in Fort Worth, and I know exactly where that church is at. So when I first saw the news and the name of the church and said in Fort Worth, I was like, oh man, I know where this is at. And the white settlement area is predominantly white folks live there, not just because it's called white settlement. It's always had that neighborhood in Fort Worth has always had I guess white folks living in that neighborhood. I had a friend that lived around that area, and I would drive when I would go visit him. Or his house, would have to actually drive past that church. So what happens? A crazy guy. I guess he's a local. A local guy had five arrests for assault with a deadly weapon. The guy should be in jail. He shouldn't be out walking around. Well, he's dead now. So the guy goes in the church, and of course the people immediately notice, hey man, this guy's not one of the regular parishioners. He looks a little bit weird. He's wearing of course it's winter time, but at nighttime we're supposed to get down to like the low 30s tonight. So it's 40 degrees right now. So come late evening or late nighttime or early morning, it will be down close to freezing. Anyways, the guy comes into the church wearing, and I haven't watched I guess the church does live streaming, and the videos are out there online. I don't know if it's on YouTube. Probably was, but it's probably taken down. So the guy's wearing this long black trench coat, number one, and I guess number one, people don't recognize him, and wearing a fake beard and a fake wig. Now it could be that since he is a person who's local to the neighborhood, maybe he disguised himself because he knew that maybe someone in the church probably knew him. That's the only reason I think of why he would disguise himself. Or maybe he thought that after he does his killing rampage, he can run off, throw the wig and the fake beard into the trash can and run off into the wilderness, and no one would know who he was. So more than likely he probably planned on getting away with his mass murder. And kind of like I mentioned, this is what needs to happen when these crazy guys, go popping off. Is that they need to be clamped down, or they need to be put the clap on. I guess that would be the modern slang for shooting somebody. Put the clap on them. Not a bad cigar. It's a easy draw. It's this is my second to last. I bought like a pack of 5, and let me touch this up a little bit. It is a little bit on the strong side, I would say. But it's not a Maduro. It is a darker brown wrapper, but it's not a Maduro. So more of this needs to happen. Crazy guy comes in, he starts to pop off. Someone put the clap on him. And in this case, it took like from the time he started shooting to the time he was dead, it took about 6 seconds. And at first they were saying that one of the parishioners, the one in my hand because it's cold. My neighbor's coming home. Yep. No, good guy with the gun. And you notice that when I was checking out the forums, there wasn't any liberals on there saying, "Hey man, where's the good guy with the gun?" Because there's always, when there's a shooting of that type, there's always one or two of the knuckleheads coming on going, "Where's the good guy with the gun?" And yes, and you did get the the liberals coming on talking about it's because of Texas's lax gun law that this is happening, and of course the reply back is what gun law, or what more stringent gun law would have stopped this guy from going in there and shooting up the church. Just like what would have stopped those 2 people in New Jersey from going into that Jewish deli and shooting the place up. And same thing with in New York, what would have stopped that guy from going into that synagogue, and knifing those people? Of course, New York having the, one of the more, of course it's a liberal city, so it's got a very stringent, very strict gun law. What would have stopped, of course it's in the news a lot, what would have stopped those boys from stabbing that girl that was walking in the park? I forget her name, but she's in the news a lot. It's so cold out here, the heater is not even helping. I need to double check the heater here and make sure that I got it. Okay. There we go. I had it on low. It's the first time I'm using it this winter. It's got a fan setting, then it's got a heat setting, and I had the heat on low. There's a low and a high heat setting. I have the fan on full now. Okay, now I can feel the heat. I was like, man, I was wondering why. What the heck, man? The sweater's definitely helping. I'm in my shorts, so my legs are a little bit cold. Yes, and after the was that Southland Park Church shooting here in Texas, the Texas lawmakers passed a law where you can carry, if you are a concealed carry license, you can carry into places of worship, churches, synagogues, temples. And then, of course, this was passed a few years ago since that happened. So as I said in other videos, when these guys start to pop off, if you are a concealed carry, don't be afraid, because either way he's going to kill you. So put these crazy guys down, because they're going to put you down regardless. So if this happens more, where a crazy guy pops off, 5 seconds later he's dead. guarantee you it's not going. It's still going to happen. But it's not going to happen as much. And of course, we got people saying, hey, we need more asylums for these crazy people. Now, remember watching, this is back when Discovery Channel actually made documentaries that were actually good. And now all they show is, just like TLC, all they show is those reality TV shows. It's good coffee, man. But the documentary I watched, show that back in the 60s and 70s, when asylums were a big thing, it came down to basically hospitals and doctors abusing their powers. And there was one case, I think, in New York, where something like 7,000 boys were admitted, and lots of them weren't mentally unstable or needed to be admitted, but they were admitted because the hospitals and the doctors were getting money for each patient that got admitted. And also, you could pretty much have anyone. I'm trying to think of the word. What's that word? It's kind of like the red flag law, except for it's you can pretty much have anyone admitted to an asylum, especially if it's a family member. As long as you sign off with the doctor saying, hey, this family member is mentally unstable, and we're going to commit them. So you can pretty much have anyone committed to an asylum. And on top of that, the doctors at these hospitals could pretty much have anyone committed to an asylum. That was the power that they wielded. So you gotta wonder why, President Reagan in the 80s got rid of asylums. It's because they became so corrupt. And of course, no surprise. The asylum in New York, liberal New York. Yeah, even back then they were liberal. 7,000 boys, committed to that to the asylum, and also not to mention the treatments they were doing. They were still doing electroshock therapy, where they were shocking your brain to make you sane again. Now, I think by the 70s they stopped doing lobotomies, but they were doing other experiments on the patients while they were in the hospitals. Or actually, not hospital. Now they're called hospitals. Back then they're asylums. Yeah, we do have hospitals that I guess the mentally insane get sent to, but we don't have I guess what you would think of as an asylum. This is a nice puffing cigar. It's a small cigar, but it's I guess just like a nubs, I guess it's made with a special cigar leaf that burns slower. Because yeah, look at it, it's not even burning that much, and I've been puffing on it pretty constantly too. So hopefully more of that happens. And yes, and I guess to wrap it up, the police officer who shot that lady through her bedroom window, because I guess he was responding to a now the neighbor who's supposed to call 911 is saying he didn't call 911. He called a non-emergency number, and yes, and I've actually every city has a non-emergency number. I've actually used it. Where I live here, I guess I was sitting in my office one day, typing away. I heard a loud screech, like a tire screeching, in front of the house. Then a car speeding off. I was like, oh shit, I better check this out. And looked out, and there's this big tomcat, black tomcat, dead in the middle of the road. That thing had to have been like 10, 15 pounds. inhale some smoke. So I jumped online, looked up the city's non-emergency response number, which is manned 24 hours, by the way. This is during the daytime too, so I called them up and said, hey, can you send out the city cleanup crew or the pest control, city pest control? There's somebody just ran over this big old tomcat in front of my house, and people are avoiding it, but somebody's going to hit it, and there's going to be a 10-foot blood smear in front of my house, which I don't want. About 30 minutes later, this nice young officer shows up. I go out there and say, hey, officer, yeah, that's the dead cat in the middle of the street. Somebody ran him over, and they took off down the street. So he's like, okay, I'll clean him up. And he's like, you got a bag? I was like, yeah, I'll get you a trash bag. So I came inside the house, got one of the big lawn bags, the big, thick plastic lawn bags. And I was going to pick the cat up, and then the officer's like, no, sir, I'll do that. I was like, okay, here you go, man. So he picked up the cat, threw it in the back of his cruiser, and he took off, and that was the last I heard of all of that. So yes, there is, if a non-emergency situation comes up, yes, please use the non-emergency number to contact the authorities. So back to the shooting. The neighborhood that it was in is known as the Morningside neighborhood, and that is the black area, the black neighborhood in Fort Worth. It is crime-ridden, high crime, drugs, you name it. If you drive to that area, make sure that unless you're visiting someone or that you're down with it, just drive through. Don't stop for gas. Definitely don't pick anybody up on the street corner. Yeah, I guess there's a street that runs through it called Rosedale, which is known for I guess hookers and drug dealers to hang out, and we always, as a kid, make fun of, hey man, you can go down to Rosedale and pick up a hooker. Yes, and Rosedale runs through that neighborhood, and so does Skid Row. So basically, this guy was found. A grand jury found that there was enough evidence to indict him on a murder charge. I don't know if it's murder, probably not murder one. And being that he's a man, I bet you he will get a heavier sentence than Amber Geiger. I bet you this officer will probably get 10 years. What did Amber Geiger get? But anyways, he'll probably get a whole lot. He'll probably get more since he's a male. The guy's 21, 22, but he's around that age. 1 year on the force, and I can see why they sent him out there, because it's a non-emergency call. Like, hey, it's a non-emergency call. Send that rookie out there, have him check it out. More than likely, he had his finger on the trigger. So when the lady entered her bedroom, he saw her silhouette. He jumped, and his finger. Of course, when you jump, your finger flex, and he pulled the trigger and shot the lady. So I don't think he did it on purpose. I have a feeling that he more than likely got scared. It was a jump scare. He saw her come into the bedroom, saw the silhouette, jump scare, pulled the trigger, and killed the poor lady. And on top of that, making it worse, her dad, because of the stress of the situation, died of a heart attack. So, and of course, the city of Fort Worth is going to be, paying out to the family. This officer will more than likely be found guilty of murder of I don't know which degree. His policing days are pretty much over. Now on good police news, I hadn't watched the video. I need to go watch the video. Is that the video of the Fort Worth police chief, chasing down a bad guy. I guess reading the news, they're saying that he was in the area, and he decided to try to stay out in the perimeter, let his younger officers chase the bad guy. But just so happened where he was parked, the perp came to his view, so he got out of his squad car, chased the guy down. More than likely, the guy's probably been running and jumping fences for a couple of blocks, trying to get away from police. And of course, they had a helicopter on him, so he wasn't going to get away. And yeah, the 52-year-old police chief, who's not a whole lot older than me. Yeah, there's no way I was going to be able to chase no young thug down. Especially jumping 6-foot fences and stuff. I could probably chase him down if he's been running for a couple of blocks, avoiding other police officers. But if I had to jump 6-foot fences or 4-foot chain link fences, things like that, he'd probably get away from me. Well, okay, and I'll close it on that. Yeah, it's just crazy, crazy news. And Fort Worth, by the way, is not blue. It is a pretty red city. It is a mid-sized city, so it's not like one of the big cities like Dallas, Austin, or Houston. Houston being the most populated, of course. I guess where all the liberals go to when they come. They go to either Houston, or they go to Austin. And then I guess Dallas is like the last option, and they stay away from Fort Worth. Yeah, so because what Fort Worth did is that they gentrified downtown. I remember going as a kid. Downtown there were beggars and homeless everywhere, every corner. There used to be a movie theater down there that me and my liberal buddy would go to. Back then, I was one of those, hey, I got a buck in my pocket, I'll give it to this homeless guy. But soon you learn, hey, you give to one, you're going to have 20 surrounding you. So, yeah, so if you do donate money, go donate it to a charity, go donate it to a Salvation Army, a soup kitchen, a food pantry. Don't just my fingers are freezing. Don't just hand that 10, 20 bucks you got in your pocket to some guy on the corner begging, because he's going to go buy drugs, alcohol, or a hooker. Yeah, $10 hooker. Probably a crack fiend hooker. So to add on to that, I guess it was because we were coming back from. So me and wife, this is flash forward. This is one of our trips either to Austin or to San Antonio, and we decided to have dinner, relax a little bit, and then come back a little bit later. And we're taking 35, and the 35 it's still under construction right now. And that mix area, they call it the mix master because it has a whole bunch of different exits and things like that. The highway was closed down. They closed down 35, and everybody was exiting the highway to try to go through downtown and then get back into the highway. So I took this exit, and I needed to take a left to go towards downtown. But I figured, hey, let me take a right, and let me take a right, go to this one road, and then go up a little bit, and take this other highway. So I took a right, and I took a right into Skid Row. Yes, there was homeless literally on the left side and right side of the sidewalk. It was a sidewalk, so they weren't sleeping in. I guess technically they're sleeping in the street. And of course my wife is yelling, "Do you turn around, go back towards downtown." So before we got too far into Skid Row, I did a U-turn, went back into downtown. I'm pretty familiar with downtown Fort Worth. And zigzagged through downtown, got back onto the highway. And of course my wife's like, I thought you said there was no homeless. I was like, no, no, there's no homeless in downtown. They kicked them all. They kicked them all to that homeless shelter that we turned on to. Well, I'll end it here, and you guys, well, I probably won't make another video until after New Year, so you guys have a good and safe New Year, and enjoy yourself.